Yo, it's your least favorite YouTuber here playing Dagon. You may have noticed something. We're in VR. It's gonna be my first deal, because I was bored and it ended up working. Right now I'm having to use HTC 5 controllers because I forgot my fucking necklace controllers. Because if I had those, I'd be using those. But I don't currently have those, and I might upload some more VR stuff in the near future. But this is literally, hopefully, this is just a VR version of like the book Dagon, which I've read like a few times. Let's just start. Dagon is a faithful, interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the
I am
plot.
writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Oh, okay. During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others will have interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder sign. And walk.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can...
Endless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life bearable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from the scarlet window to the squalid street below.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Okay.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize.
Oh, never fully. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it's that I must have forgetfulness or death. What's that? Morphine. Morphine's entered into the use of the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War and World War I. It was also sold without restrictions till 1914. Morphine became the most popular after the invention of hypodermic syringe around 1854. Friedrich, I'm not even gonna pronounce that, who first isolated the substance, originally named morphine, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. At the time Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem with the United States. Okay. And
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
I remember this in the book.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean...
Fuck. The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean's forces of the Hun had not completely sunk their later extraction or something.
So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
This is awesome. What's that? The Huns. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Huns as a synonym for Germans in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor William II gave a speech to his troops on the 27th July 1900 before they embarked to China. Oh yeah, I forgot how literally every other country puts dates like that instead of month, day, because for America it'd be July 27th, 1900, but for everywhere else it's 27th of July. Should you encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited. Just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under their king Alpia made a name for themselves, one that today makes them seem mighty in history. A legend, may the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that there is no Chinese will ever again dare to look cross-eyed at a German. The refusal to take prisoners was as clear as a breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the first Paraguay or Page, I don't fucking know, Convention of 1899. Where is the story? Out there. Okay. And then they were like my captors.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
That's awesome. This is awesome because, like, I know this story. Okay. Nope. Is there anything around here that I can do? Nope. Let's get on our boat.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Damn, I wonder what's around me.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
I want to be on that side. I want to go, whoa, 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 your boat gently down the stream. And, okay. Oh, there. It's
The weather
sun.
kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land. But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my
That's
solitude
weird.
upon the heaving vastness of unbroken
Weird,
blue.
I don't know how to feel about that. Which is, like, it should appear as
The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Oh. Okay. Now, if this is what it was like in the story, no wonder he was.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see,
I would not know that word right there.
and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
Honestly, yeah. Oh shit, sorry. But honestly, makes sense.
For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
This is awesome, but you
Perhaps
can't
I
lie.
should not hope to convey in mere words
Also,
the unutterable
literally, it's just like
hideousness
a book.
that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity.
Yeah, I was thinking that
There
there'd
was
be
nothing
more like
within
stuff.
hearing, and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Huh? Wouldn't it be like? Cause I don't know. Let's go over to our boat.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
What's that
Through
theory?
some unprecedented volcanic
And
upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me.
Oh shit. So great that the extent that the new land which had been risen beneath me, that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, strain my ears as I might.
Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Okay, so I guess we got there. When do we get to see this monument?
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Yeah, let's wait.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Okay, what do I look for now? Oh, stack.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
It looks like a bunch of mud though.
The
right?
odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Okay. Where do I go? There. Let's go. Uh, uh.
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
I guess that this like experience still is for like I guess it's more of like yeah, it's literally an audiobook or like a book turned into a game, but not like that'd be kind of like the Call of Cthulhu game, which is literally I don't know about the game because I have like yeah, I have two versions of Call of Cthulhu in two different forms, and they're the exact same deal. I got a book about that's the that looks like the Necronomicon that has a bunch of deals, and then another book that has a bunch of H.P. Lovecraft stories. And like I read some of it, but like yeah, no, I'll read that eventually. But this would be like a good experience for a fan of like horror or like H.P. Lovecraft to start off with for VR. It's like there's not much really you have to do. It's literally reading you a book. And you get an environment to kind of look around. Oh, look at that whale. Are those like bones? Okay, let's go. Oh,
That night I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
huh. Oh, there.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
This is cool though. Like you
I know
cannot
not
lie.
why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to
Chilly
sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again, And in the glow of the moon, I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
I think there's
Without the glare of
DLC
the
for this, but I
parching
don't know what
sun,
it would do.
my journey would have cost me less energy.
Yeah.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Okay, let's pick up our sack.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world.
Yeah. Let me just lean back. Oh shit, I almost fell.
Peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
We should
Through
jump
my
down.
terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost
We should jump down.
and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
We should jump down.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Perpendicular. Let's go down.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent, whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Okay, let's go. No, I don't like this.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Isn't it like a giant monument or something?
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express. For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Okay, so we got water, monolith, more water. Let's keep going. Oh.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures. The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books, consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
That right there is a little Cthulhu right in the middle. And I think possibly down there, I don't know. There's like sirens or something. Hold on. Motherfucker, wait. Okay, that's water, right? We were above water. That's monolith right there. Those, I don't like that, but like that etching is awesome. Like, It's literally
Several
completely.
characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world,
Yeah, I guess.
but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Storytelling methods. Dagon contains many themed and storytelling methods. You could probably just rewind and read that if you want, because like I accidentally closed it.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a
Like
certain
this
sort of
down
men.
there to that. I think it's this stuff down there.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto,
Yeah.
or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
See, maybe it's this one.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer. They were damnably human in general outline,
awesome.
despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips,
So,
glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall.
pretty cool.
Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Oh. That's great.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Maybe.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me.
I want to see Dagon or whatever his name is. I don't, or whatever her name is. Cause like,
Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Where? Saw what? Where? When? How?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface,
Oh,
the
that.
thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Oh, das ist nicht gut.
Fiend-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Das ist nicht gut. I do not like that.
I think I was mad then,
Hopefully.
of my frantic ascent of the snow-clad cliff and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat. I remember no little.
Oh wait, how's that jumped out? That's actually
I suffered a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
yeah. He's gone mad or something like that.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
What this is. Then I wake up in a hospital, right? Right?
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital, brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Yay.
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing.
Dude, that's...
Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Maybe it was like the rain, like what made it rise or something, I don't know. Oh, I don't like that.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon,
Dagon,
the fish god.
not Dagon. I thought it was Dagon, but it's Dagon. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines worshipped throughout the Middle East of the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon, was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad chose him as the patron saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as a judge in the dead of an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's work, Dagon was an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with the fish traits that resides in the oceans. He was worshipped by a secret cult called the Iskaritic Order of Dagon. Okay, so if you don't know what the deep ones are, basically, right? You know Cthulhu and all that stuff, right? Those are deep ones. If I remember correctly, they're like aliens or something from space. They were like, oh shit, we need a place to live. Oh look, it's Earth. And then they went to Earth, right? And like hid underwater or whatever. And they're called deep ones because something like that. I don't know. They're also fucking giant. And like with Cthulhu, there's like cults for them. Yeah. I don't know, I might get that wrong. I'm stupid.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
August Derleth in the Cthulhu mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthropologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many works for his company Arkham House. Also greatly contributed to the polarization of the author's work after his death, surrounded by numerous controversy. One of the most questionable decisions involved introducing the good and evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic. The Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's work are often misunderstood and misinterpreted in today's culture. It's also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the moral plane. What do I look for? Do we go back? Oh, there. Over here. Oh. Okay. Here.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Yep.
I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Whee! Morphine.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply.
Can I go under the water? Oh, I can. I was hoping that there'd be fish stuff down there. That's funny.
I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite.
I quite dislike that, actually.
I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind.
I do
Of a
not
day
like
when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Das ist einen New Yorker. Statue of Liberty.
The end is near.
Shit.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Fire.
It shall not find me.
It won't find me. I'll be out that window. Oh.
God, that hand!
Oh shit. Oh.
The window! The window!
Look at the window. Look at the window. Oh, we did different sounds. I did a wee. Because I brought a parachute. Oh shit, okay. Thank you for playing. We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. We would appreciate it if you took a moment to rate Dagon and please check out our other games and DLC. Cthulhu bedtime stories? I'll leave feedback after. Can't do it really right now. Shit.
And scary stories have been accompanying men for centuries. They have many faces and forms. But what is their purpose? Why do we enjoy being afraid so much?
Because it's fun.
During our therapy, I'll try to
It's more deals. That's much cool, so I'll have to try out more of these games. Exit. Morphine, puns. Oh, I missed quite a bit actually. Oh wait, which one was it? No, I already read that. I already know that one. Was it this one? Okay. Dagon contents many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later writings, such as telling stories through carvings, mountains of madness, the nameless city, journals and character notes, the shadow out of time, the haunter of the dark, islands emerging from the ocean, the call of Cthulhu. Oh yeah, I think that the game might be like literally just based off the book. I don't know. Or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies. Migo and the Whisperer and Dark. Oh, oops, sorry. Migo and the Whisperer of Darkness. Also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other works stories conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the detail in order not to spoil the ending. Oh, so other stories also go with suicide. Are those DLCs? Yeah, I think so. Back. Okay, so if you liked this video, hit the like button. If you hated this video, hit the like button. I'm Griffin Potter. If you hate me as a person, hit the subscribe button. If you love me as a person, hit the subscribe button. Think about hitting bell. And this has been Dagon. I don't fucking know. I forgot. And bye bye.